all, before I start, I just want to recognize that a lot of my pedagogy and my speech is based off of the teaching of Bell Hooks, who I would like to just recognize here with me, passed away yesterday, and I would like to acknowledge and hope that she rests in power. During our supervised visitation meetings after my mother got out of prison, she would tell me a story about a house. It was big and white and beautiful, and someday, she would tell me, we would live there happily. At 5 years old, what you believe in is what is real to you. That house was so real to me, I would walk up its steps, sit my tiny body on the porch, and wait for the day she would come home. My mother had been sober for 7 years when she died alone in her apartment. I was 12, still sitting on that porch, convinced that she had just taken a wrong turn on the way back from running errands. I think at some point I began to starve and frantically knocked on any door I could find. People wouldn't answer, weren't home, or couldn't have another mouth to feed. So the tactic changed. I showed up as a version I thought people wanted or needed me to be, and it worked. People would let me in, some even out of the pure goodness of their hearts. But I would always keep one eye on the door, ready to bolt at the first sign of danger. I often did in the middle of the night, guilty, for constructing a ruse much like the one I had believed in. At the beginning of the semester, I didn't know who I was or what I wanted, and I found myself falling apart in the middle of a storm that had 21 years to brew. Unsure where to go, I went back to that now dilapidated house alone, begging for my mom to come home. And soon after, however, this kid named Jake sat with me and offered gentle advice when I cried on the ground at a punk show, after I learned that love actually does require communication. And Ashley brought me a bag that she somehow found of yellow Laffy Taffies after we realized that we're kind of the same person, and banana is definitely the best flavor. Yeah. Richie, my mentor, encouraged me to cheer for myself on days I truly didn't think I deserved it. On one of my last days of my internship, he looked at me and said, "I'm not proud of you. I'm proud to know you." Kel always listened and didn't judge me when I snot-bombed my sweater sleeves while crying. Sawyer showed me Christmas lights instead of getting angry with me when I made us miss the train home. Jackie, my joy, has the same heart and loud laugh that I do. Eric always lit up with joy at every light bulb I screwed in, and Edith always checked in with me, knowing what it's like to rebuild a house herself. I wish I had the time to name every single person in this room. All of you have helped me build a place within myself that I've been aching for years to come home to. Many of us have found ourselves stuck within a paradox. We ache for radical, transformative kindness, but the vulnerability required to receive it terrifies us. And for good reason. We human beings easily get so lost in the terror of living. We deeply hurt each other by being careless and unkind. But when we turn away from the complicated, messy humanity within ourselves and each other, all we do is fall back into the depths of our own suffering. So I ask you, what would happen if we held on to each other not despite, but because of all of our brokenness and our fear? What if we held on to each other's hands, leaned back into the horrible weight of what we carry, and trusted the strength of our bonds to keep us alive? Life is not easy. It has blown each and every one of us apart and has left us a heap of splinters and scrap metal. But the greatest tool we have to rebuild is each other's hands. Build sanctuaries in each other. Show up at each other's doors terrified, heartbroken, and weary, and also joyful, proud, laughter-filled, and silly. Know in the brilliant, horrific wilderness of life that you will always, always have a place to come home to. Thank you.